to start. Thanks for being here. The non-conference season is in the books, and felt like it was pretty productive. We didn't finish this past weekend exactly like we had hoped, but we ran into some pretty good opponents in Kansas and Creighton, and all that did, I think, was clear some things up for us that we got to make more progress, and there's some areas that we can improve upon, but we don't have a lot of time to do it, as Penn State will be here on Wednesday. But the good news is we're back in Holloway Gym, and we've been about everywhere else but Holloway Gym for the last 3 weeks. And so it will be nice to be back in the friendly confines of our own facility. I thought this past weekend we actually played fairly well. I don't have any major complaints about our performance. Kansas at Kansas is a tough out. We found that out last year. We barely beat them 17-15 in the fifth. This year, I thought we were in a position to win about every game, and we just couldn't find a way to do it often enough. But they're good. They've got 5 seniors in their lineup. A really solid team. They don't give away points. They make it very difficult. And we just weren't good enough in that Friday or Thursday match to beat Kansas. Creighton on Friday was really, really good. I thought we played our tails off against Creighton. I thought we played a really, really good match. And we're up 24-22 in the fourth with an opportunity to push it into a fifth, which would have been really exciting. But we failed to seize on that opportunity and lost it in 4. But I think Creighton is a Final Four team as of right now. If I was to pick the top 4 teams in the country, they would be one of them. They're again, a veteran team. Five seniors or fifth-year seniors on their roster. Well coached, big, talented, great setter. They're just a really, really good team. So again, we learned a lot from that one. We finished the weekend off with a match against Tulsa. Tulsa, I think, was 8-2 at the time that we played them, and we played okay the first set, but then we kind of got back into a groove in the second 2 and took care of business. And fortunately, the flight home was okay because we came home after a win, and now we just have a really short turnaround to get ready for Penn State, who'll be ranked in the top 5 in the country when the poll comes out this afternoon. So overall, we're 9-2, 8 matches on the road, 3 at home. Could be 11-0, but we could probably be worse as well. So I think that we're on schedule to where we need to be. Now it comes down to how we're going to compete against the great teams of the Big Ten Conference. Sam?
How much of, I know you've played great teams so far, how much of success is kind of magnified now with the conference season? And obviously you want to compete for a Big Ten championship, but it seems like in this league you've got to get off to a pretty good start.
Well, you'd sure like to. The schedule makers aren't going to make it easy for us with Penn State on Wednesday and Minnesota on the road on Saturday. But I think we're one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league. I really do. And you have to believe that, and you have to go out and play like that. It doesn't mean you're going to beat everybody that you should, or you're going to lose to people that they think you're going to lose to, but you have to be really, really good and be prepared. We have a really good coaching staff. I like the job that our people are doing, both in practice and in preparation. A lot of new faces. Michael Burrell has been on our staff as a coach for now about a year. John Klanick for about 6 months. Ben Catrone is in a new role now as our basically video guy, technology guy, but also does some scouting for us. So it's kind of some new people that we're working with right now. But I like the way that it's going. I feel good about them, that they really work their tails off, and it's just a matter of putting the pieces together.
Think back to, obviously this program elevated rapidly when your coaching staff got here, but when you got that first win over Penn State, which at the time I think was one of 2 or 3 of the names in college volleyball every year,
right?
How much did that elevate this program to that next echelon where, okay, now we're at this level where we're able to compete and beat the best teams in the country?
Well, I can remember that match. It was right here at Holloway Gym, and Blair Brown hit a ball out of bounds by about a foot that gave us that win. And it was hard to get. If people recall, nobody beat Penn State. They won about 4 straight years of being undefeated. during those stretches. But the team that we beat actually won a national championship later that year. But I don't know what it did to change the face of our program. I think people have always considered us to be a team that plays with great competitive spirit, that always has good athletes, that's always disciplined, that will be tough to score on. But you have to start doing some things. It's just like I think it was the same year that we got to the Elite Eight for the first time, back in 2010. That was another big step. Until you do that, you're not sure if you can do that. Right now, there's not anybody in our league that our players don't think they can beat. But we also know that on a given night, we can lose to anybody in our league. So you have to be prepared and ready to go.
Last year, you were telling us about the progress of Lourdes Myers, and now she's playing quite a bit. How has she grown, again, kind of taking that next step where now she's a player that you have to rely on to win matches?
Yeah, Lourdes has got tremendous size, and even though she is listed at 6'3", she really has the arms and wingspan of somebody closer to 6'5". And there's a lot she can do, and there's a lot more that she needs to do for us. I think that she can be a player that changes how people defend us. And from last year through some of this year, people are focusing on the three players that everybody knows about on our team. And that would be Raven and Eva and Chloe. And the sooner we start punishing them by scoring points in other positions, the better our chances to win a lot of matches are going to be. You have a sophomore setter that's starting to come into her own right now. And so she's going to have to be kind of the catalyst of making that happen. It's hard sometimes when you're a sophomore setter and you have a game plan to spread the offense around, but it's not working. And you're setting the ball to people and they're not scoring, then it kind of squeezes you a little bit as far as what you feel like you should be doing. And so when those opportunities come to Kenna Woolard or Elizabeth Carr or Lourdes Myers, they need to score. They need to show that they're capable of doing that. And they do it in practice. And obviously Lourdes Myers is hitting .313 on the season. I'd like to see those numbers closer to .375. And I think she can get there.
What were the benefits of losing those games? I mean, obviously after you have that historic start, but I mean, did you learn a lot, or do you feel your players can kind of sharpen themselves now?
Yeah, I think that from a coaching standpoint, you always see, it's easier for you to see some of the areas that you need to work on, whether you win or lose. I think players sometimes benefit from, wait a minute, we just got beat, we're not good enough, okay? And so now we'll go back and we'll look at some tape and we talk about a lot of things. I think all of our coaches, without even being asked, they all came in with a long list of things today that we need to work on. Okay, none was really longer than the list I had, but they all came in with some ideas. My brain about blew up in our coaching staff meeting today because there was just so many different people telling me so many different things that we can do better. And I told them, well, here's the story, folks. We got basically 2 days to get ready for Penn State. So we can't put all these things into our practices in the next 2 sessions. So let's figure out where we can, what things we can hit on to get ready for this really good and physical Penn State team. So I think, yeah, when you get beat, it amplifies everything as far as what you need to work on and things that you may not be up to snuff on, but you can't lose your mind. I mean, we're a really good team. We've proven it from the very beginning of this season. We're a really, really good team. We won't give up points easy. Are there areas that we have to improve on? Absolutely. And I would start with serving. And even though I feel like our serving is so much better than a year ago, there's a huge difference in how you get to a Final Four. And a lot of it comes from how tough, how effective you serve, how you take people out of what they want to do on their offense. So it starts with that. I would think just, again, what I talked about with Sam is getting more people involved in our offense where we can spread things out and take some of that load off of, the three-headed hydra.
Seems with the mix of, veterans you have and young talent and just, top level talent, it seems like you have a good mix of maybe postseason ready team. Do you feel that way? Is this one of the best you've coached?
Oh, we're not as experienced as some teams that we've had before. I look at the 2 teams that we lost to this weekend. Kansas, 5 seniors out of their first 6. Creighton, either 5 seniors or 6 fifth-year players were in their lineup. And so those teams are a little bit better built early in the season for success. I think by the time we get to through 20 Big Ten matches, we'll be ready for tournament play. I think we'll feel a lot more like some of these teams do. You know, again, that's not an excuse for why we got beat. It's we have to get better, and we have the talent level, we have the arms, we have, I think, the skill position people that can be really, really good. But I think that the message to them is we're not good enough yet. So how do we get better? Let's listen to coaching. Let's listen to each other and find ways to improve on a lot of different areas.
How have Chloe and Taylor grown in terms of their leadership and just kind of comfort on the team now in their second years together?
Chloe's a natural leader, both just in how she competes every day, how hard she works, and then also the information she shares with people. I think people know that she's in it to win it, and I think that's super, super important. Big step this year for, I think, Taylor Anderson from where she was a year ago, just trying to find her way into the gym and understand how things worked and how to compete. Not only is she fairly new to Purdue, she's fairly new as a setter. I mean, she wasn't setting when she was in 8th grade. Okay, she was setting as a senior in high school, maybe a little bit as a junior in club. So, you know, it's been a lot. It's been an education for her, but she's a very cool, calm, collective player. You know, she does not let things bother her. She's not afraid to try new things to spread the wealth around a little bit. So, but now she needs to take yet another step in how she's going to take control of our team and have that look on her face all the time, like she's in charge and that we're going to win the match. Thank you.
Dave, how has Julia Kane grown in the last couple of years to the point where she's on the floor a lot more now?
Yeah, it's been a journey for her, even though she's just a sophomore. You know, she's 6 foot as a defensive specialist, all right, which is pretty tall for a DS. But she's got a great serve. She's got a great aura about herself that she doesn't let anything bother her. You could put her in the most tough situation possible. You could be serving match point of a national championship. That's who I'd have come in and serve it, because she doesn't know any different. I mean, she doesn't show anything different. She's just cool as a cucumber. And then she's going to serve it tough. Now, it might be an error, okay? And she'll say, well, I did my best. I just like the way she plays on the floor. And defensively, she's pretty good. You know, so right now we're using her to come in and serve for Allie Horning. Allie Horning's a better libero, but she's not a better server right now. And what we found out when we made that move, mostly because Horning for early in the year had a little shoulder issue. Now she doesn't. But we found out that the stat I shared with you guys, I think last week, point scoring, okay? You took the week off last week. You had better things to do. But there's a stat that is...
I watched the replay, Dave.
Okay, did you watch the replay?
I did.
Oh, good, okay. Point scoring for the server is how many times you serve and what's the percentage of your team getting points for that. And right now she's above everybody else on our team. So she's got that job. That's going to be her job, to come in and create some havoc with her serving. She did a great job of it this past weekend in the three matches that we played. A lot of it is just her understanding what it takes to become good, understanding what it takes to become a great teammate. Those type of things have benefited her to a point where I feel very comfortable playing her on the floor.
The other thing, usually it takes a few games, a few matches to learn what a team's personality is. What is this team's personality going into conference play?
Yeah, I think that's one thing we're still developing at this point in time, because people are taking new roles on this team. It's a similar team that we had a year ago, but the players are all different and what the expectations are for them. We challenged them about every match during non-conference, so it wasn't an opportunity for them to be real comfortable in their shoes, okay? And it won't be from now on out. I had one of our veteran players come to me today and ask me, how can they do better? What can they do better to help this team, both as a player, as a leader, all those kinds of things. So I think that they're trying to do what they can to find that identity, but I think it's still a little bit early to say this is who Purdue is. I mean, I think that we have to be super, super competitive. We have to be super confident that we can win. We have to be a great defensive team. We have to have people display great arms and take over matches when the time comes. But I think we're still trying to find out exactly who we are. Yeah. That's good. All right, thank you very much.